Hey guys, welcome back to The Mind of Brandon. Today we're going to be talking about a GERD sufferer's vegan diet experiment. Now that's me, I'm the GERD sufferer. For those of you who don't know what GERD is, that stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease, which I was diagnosed with around about a year ago, something like that. And at the time, the doctor gave me a couple of different kinds of medication. There was one for controlling the acidity in my stomach, and another for healing the ulcers that had formed in my esophagus. I'm sure that makes it sound like this is a very unpleasant condition, and that is correct. It is quite unpleasant. But to make matters worse, there were some pretty harsh dietary restrictions. I was told no more spicy food. No more fatty food, fried food, rich food. I was told to avoid things like garlic, onions, alcohol, coffee. I wanted to kill myself, right? And that wasn't even a complete list of the restrictions. Like I actually had to, keep getting online and doing like more research into, what other things am I supposed to avoid? What things can I actually eat? On top of that, I'd be mindful of things like not bending over after a meal, not going to bed too soon after a meal, not lying down, not sitting down, no intense exercise, and yes, that does include sexual activity. So yeah, GERD fucking sucks. It is the worst thing that has ever happened to me, okay? Now, it's the kind of thing that you can treat. For some people, some people actually wind up being cured of it. I think that's more often, like, if you get it, you probably can get cured from it. Me, I've had it for a year, so I'm not going to get my hopes up. That said, there are times when it's just like, do I even still have it? I feel great. I've been feeling really good lately. Feels like everything's fine. And then I'll do something stupid like bend over after a meal. Right? It's like, ah! Okay, GERD's not gone. Lie down after a meal. Have a little wacky. So, yeah. I'm constantly going online trying to find little life hacks, for getting through life with GERD, right? Actually, once upon a time, stumbled across a website. I don't know what the site was. I'm going off my memory here. I apologize. The website said something along the lines of, you don't have to go vegan to get over GERD, right? Now, that left me kind of wondering, well, wait a minute. Does that mean that going vegan is actually a good way to get over GERD? Now, don't get me wrong. At the time, I was more interested in the fact that I didn't have to go vegan, right? Because it's kind of giving people hope. You don't have to go vegan to get over GERD, right? Here's stuff that you can do, right? That doesn't require you to go vegan. But yeah, like I said, I've had it for a year. It got to a point where I was willing to try the vegan thing. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like I just suddenly went vegan one day or anything like that. Basically, I kept in the back of my mind that going vegan was an option. It's something to try out eventually if all else fails, right? So one day, I'm hanging out on YouTube, watching YouTube videos. Yeah, I think it was like watching a feminist video or something like that. And over in the like suggested videos, there was one called, I think it was something like Vegan Hitler Wants to Kill All Meat Eaters or something like that, right? And I thought, oh, that looks like an interesting video. I'm going to go check that out, right? And it wound up being a response to a video posted by a vegan called Freely the Banana Girl. And I decided to watch the original video done by Freely before watching the rest of the response to it, because I've noticed that like very often when people do response videos, they actually will distort the perspectives of the person that they're responding to, misrepresenting their position, right? I know that's happened to me a whole shitload. Like, you know, you come on YouTube and you like post videos and people just like twist and skew things. Just like, you motherfucker, what the fuck? You know, come on. So now I did not get the impression that she wanted to kill meat eaters. She actually explicitly says she doesn't want to kill anyone. She did ask the question, do meat eaters even deserve to live? Well, she was really talking about a specific variety of meat eaters who's actually been properly educated on the effects that, you know, supporting the meat and dairy industry has on not just the animals but the planet. Because apparently, this is stuff I found out later. Apparently, there's deforestation involved in, you know, high production of methane gases, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's not really the best thing for the planet to you know, be supporting the meat and dairy industries. But hey, if Freely says that these people don't deserve to live, that's the same thing as saying that she wants to kill them, isn't it? Personally, I think that's a pretty dishonest interpretation of the situation. Look, for me, the way I interpret this is that, you know, she's basically just trying to guilt people into going vegan. That's what she means by you don't deserve to live. You know, she's basically kind of trying to make people feel like you're not a good person if you're not going vegan. And apparently that approach actually works on some people. You know, some people get guilted into it. It's not an approach I would take, but at the same time, watching that video is what encouraged me to watch, you know, some of her other videos. It's just, you know, because remember, I had in the back of my mind that going vegan might help me get over my GERD, right? And so, you know, I of course thought about that when I was watching her video. And, you know, so I started watching some of her other videos. Eventually started watching videos from other vegan YouTubers. And after watching a bunch of videos from a bunch of different vegan YouTubers, I realized, oh, I can swap out this for that and do this instead of that, right? And, you know, came up with all these, like, good alternatives to the egg, meat, and dairy that I had previously been eating. And so very gradually, I started cutting the egg, meat, and dairy from my diet, replacing it all with you know, plants, right? Became a plant-based eater completely. Yeah, basically the first thing I cut from my diet was cream cheese, right? I used to put cream cheese on my bagels, and I just replaced it with vegan cream cheese, right? The last thing that I got rid of, you know, got to a point where the only, you know, egg, meat, dairy that I was having was in the morning. I guess technically there was no meat on it, but there was definitely egg and dairy. It was a piece of toast with American cheese and a scrambled egg. Okay? I used to eat that every morning. And so, you know, one morning I just didn't have it. It was just like, well, this is freaking weird, right? And I've been on a strictly plant-based diet for over 4 weeks now. So after 4 weeks, I'm not cured of GERD, but my symptoms don't seem to be bothering me quite as much as they used to prior to giving up egg, meat, and dairy. And it's interesting because, you know, before I gave up the egg, meat, and dairy, I was told that, you know, chicken was relatively GERD-friendly, egg was relatively GERD-friendly, milk was relatively GERD-friendly, especially non-fat milk, okay? But now that I've cut that stuff from my diet, I really do feel like I'm a lot better off. That said, I want to give a special thanks to the Unnatural Vegan for telling me about a website called Chronometer. Chronometer, basically, it's a site you can go to, you know, punch in, here's what I ate today, and it'll bring up the nutrition content. And you can use it to make sure that you're getting enough of your daily nutrients. That, of course, is one of the common concerns about going vegan. Are you going to get enough of your nutrients? You know, some people are worried, oh, you're not going to get enough protein, right? I actually have here something that I bought from, what was it, the Whole Foods Market. Got one of those down in Bellevue. But it's this Beyond Chicken, right? It looks like chicken, it tastes like chicken, but it's made out of plants. And it's fucking delicious. Like, this stuff is, like, seriously addicting. And it has just as much protein as chicken, right? So, Yeah, nothing to worry about there. Actually, so before I ever considered going vegan, I actually was watching this lecture series a while back. You know, one of those lectures that you can get from the teaching company if you go to thegreatcourses.com. It's a lecture series on nutrition, and the professor, she was talking about how as far as protein goes, like, you know, for what you need in a day, for the average person, not like an athlete, but for the average person, if you're eating chicken, then the amount of chicken that fits into the palm of your hand, that really has all the protein that you need for a single day. Okay, for the average person. Okay, just something to keep in mind. And like I said, you know, this stuff right here, it's got just as much as regular ass chicken, so you know, it's really not a concern. But yeah, the chronometer has been really helpful with establishing for myself a healthy, GERD-friendly vegan diet. I should note that if you want to use the chronometer, it's not perfect, and they do actually have a disclaimer, you know, letting you know that it's not perfect. Some of the stuff might not be quite accurate, right? I've noticed that like some of the things that I eat, you know, if I try to go punch them into the chronometer, they actually don't show up in the database. It's got a bunch of stuff in its database, but there are some things that aren't there. And I haven't figured out if there's a way to tell them, hey, add this, right? But on top of that, let's see, I had some soy milk a while back. Looking at the nutrition facts on the, you know, soy milk carton, it said it had some vitamin D in it. But when I punched it in the chronometer totally neglected to factor in any vitamin D. It didn't mention any vitamin D. It's like the vitamin D didn't exist, right? So yeah, the site's not perfect, but it's a pretty good tool to use if you want to make sure that you're getting enough of your nutrients. Every now and then it might neglect to mention something that you're putting in your body. But it's... yeah, it's been really helpful for me. You know, I feel great. You know, a bit better than I have in a while. So that's my GERD sufferers vegan diet experiment right there in a nutshell for you. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with other people. If you're interested in watching my future videos, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I am going to be trying to regularly discuss vegan-related topics on Mondays, so anyone interested in that, certainly subscribe. Anyway, I hope to see you all in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Peace.